Greetings, fellow Whovians. Whovian Queen here. Hope you have a good week so far. We're going to look at the 11th Doctor era. Now continues on with the Vampires of Venice. The 11th Doctor, believing Amy's attraction to him is due to the stress from travel, gatecrashes her fiancé Rory's stag party and invites the two of them on a romantic trip to Venice in 1580. The city's patron, Signora Rosanna Calvieri, claims that the Black Plague runs rampant outside of Venice. The doctor says this is false and that it appears she is using the plague as an excuse to seal off the city. While investigating, they encounter Guido, a boat builder whose daughter Isabella has not contacted him since enrolling in Rosanna's school for girls. Amy devises a plan to place herself inside the school. Amy locks the gate and allows the others in, but in doing so is captured and taken to a chamber. Uh-oh. The Doctor and Rory come to believe the women are being converted into vampires. Amy kicks out Rosanna's side and disrupts a device that is hiding her true fish-like alien form. Ugh. They begin converting Amy into one of them when Isabella, who has yet to be fully converted, frees Amy and they escape. Yay! Isabel hesitates while escaping because she can no longer tolerate direct sunlight and is pulled back inside. Isabella is later thrown into a canal by Rosanna and eaten by something that lives underwater. The Doctor goes back inside to question Rosanna, who confirms that her race is from the planet Saturni, and they land on Earth after seeing silence and the end of all things. The Doctor deduces that aside from Rosanna, only the males of the species survived the trip, and that Rosanna and her son Francesco must want to sink city into the water and convert girls into compatible girlfriends to procreate. Ew. When the Doctor returns to Guido's home to regroup with Amy and Rory, Rosanna sends her transformed girls to attack them. Guido blows up several cakes of gunpowder, killing him and the girls. Aww. Rosanna activates a device on a tower that begins to create the earthquakes and floods that will sink Venice. Sorry. While Amy and Rory face and defeat Francesco, the Doctor climbs the tower and stops the device in time. The last female of her kind, Rosanna throws herself into the canal to be eaten. Ugh. Afterwards, Amy and the Doctor invite Rory to continue traveling with them. But as the Doctor and Rory are about to enter the TARDIS, everything falls silent. Ba-ba-bum. Now let's take a look at a little bit of continuity with this episode. Intending to produce a psychic paper during the episode, the Doctor accidentally produces a library card with a photograph of the first Doctor. Interesting. Now let's take a look at the production of this episode, beginning with the writing. Writer Toby Woodhouse originally planned to write a different episode set in some sort of labyrinth, but after the idea had been developed for a while, executive producers Stephen Moffat and Pierce Wenger thought that it was too similar to other episodes in the series, and asked him to write something else. Woodhouse's original idea was pushed to the next series, The God Complex. He was asked to write a big, bold, romantic episode, which would also serve as sort of a reboot episode and a good introduction to Doctor Who. Woodhouse was asked to set it anywhere in the world that was romantic, and he chose Venice, which he called one of my favorite places in the world. Woodhouse believed that the vampires fit into the setting. Woodhouse had a positive experience writing the episode, reflecting that writing on the show is a delight and a pleasure. As he is the executive producer of Being Human, he was pleased he only had to write the episode and not worry about the other aspects of production. The major plot point of Sinking Venice was conceived as Woodhouse needed to use the identity of the location, and it was a very aquatic city, and Venice was constantly fighting enemies in its history, but this time proved to be its own worst enemy. The opening scene, which detailed Elizabeth's entrance to the school and the foreboding danger that came with, was described as classic Doctor Who by Woodhouse, as it contained a victim coming into a trap. Isabel's scream at the end of the scene originally went into the title sequence. However, Director Johnny Campbell thought that the next two scenes had soft endings right after each other. As a result, the title sequence was moved to after the scene of the Doctor crushing Rory's stag party, which Woodhouse described as a fun scene and a unique opening to the titles. Woodhouse also wanted to emphasize the amount of danger the Doctor puts people in, which is pointed out by Rory in the episode. He believed that the companions over time developed the same mentality as the Doctor in running towards danger, and so Rory was a great opportunity to question that. Woodhouse also wanted a comic thread to dilute the plot and character developments. He also noted that it was difficult to capture Guido's tragic character in the running time. The episode also gave a meta-textual reference by showing a picture of the Doctor's first incarnation on his library card. The references to silence in this episode are first shown as flashbacks in the episode Day of the Moon of the next series, suggesting it was foreshadowing to the enemy of the silence, which were the focus of that episode. The script was originally too long, and as a result, many sequences had to be cut, some even after they had been filmed. These included a fight scene with the Doctor and Rosanna's steward, along with a fight sequence between Rory and Francesco, and some dialogue between the Doctor and Amy following the climax. In the original script, Amy and Rory cornered Francesco after suspecting him of killing a villager, and Francesco climbed up the wall. Woodhouse thought this would be a relatively easy stunt, but was told it would be too hard to accomplish, and Woodhouse revised it to when Francesco simply runs away. When discussing the script with Woodhouse, Helen McCrory, who played Rosanna, thought that she would hurt Amy at some point, and it was added that she bites Amy while she is in the chamber. Now on to filming and effects. The read-through of the Vampires of Venice took place on November 23rd, 2009. It is the first Doctor episode to be written by Campbell and the first co-produced by Patrick Schweitzer. Sorry if I mispronounced that. The episode was filmed in the 5th production block with Vincent and the Doctor. Due to the fact it would take time to cover up all the modern shops found in present-day Venice, the episode was filmed in the coastal town of Trogir, Croatia in late 2009. The Venetians had actually considered Trogir, and the city bears much historical architecture, including some that was influenced by Venice. The interior of the Cavalieri House was filmed at Atlantic College, Caerphilly Castle, Castel Koch, and the town of Trogir. While the Lancage Farm Manor, sorry if I mispronounced that, a 16th century manor house near Cardiff, was used as Guido's home. The production team incorporated the Cavalry crest into many locations as possible, and the art department designed a fish gargoyle for the tower of the Cavalieri House. A church tower in Trogir was used for the climax. The scene was challenging to film because of the stunts for Smith and his stunt double. The roof of the tower was constructed in the studio, and some of the scene was filmed there in front of a green screen. The gondolas were filmed in the moat on Caerphilly Castle and inserted with CGI. Locals were used in the marketplace, including a woman who had passed by the filming site with her goat. A small crew did go to Venice to take wide shots of the buildings that bordered the water, but did not have walkways as they did in Trogir. Campbell wanted to incorporate everything he loved about Venice, including church bells and narrow alleyways. Though Trogir was on the coast, it did not have internal waterways, so the production team found they could fill the square in the street below the balcony where the characters were with computer-generated water and make it part of the Grand Canal. The chamber in which the girls were taken to be turned into Saturnarians, I guess that's how it was pronounced, was bathed in a green light to suggest alien technology and also ease the brief glimpse of Rosanna's true form. The cinematographer accomplished this despite the low ceilings. Parts of the scene were cut due to censorship issues for being too scary. Several aspects of the episode had to be compromised due to budget constraints. The true form of the aliens could only be shown for a few seconds each, as it was very expensive to do, and these shots spread throughout the episode. In the original script, a big monster rose out of the water in Isabel's death scene. This would have been too expensive, and Moffat was forced to ask Woodhouse to make it invisible. Many of the costumes in the episode were taken from artwork from the 15th and 16th centuries. This included veils that women wore, which were used for the vampire girls. Guido trades clothes with Rory when Rory must disguise himself as a Venetian to enter Amy into the school. This was an idea Moffat's, which Woodhouse was aghast as he thought that Guido was a tragic character, but eventually thought the sight of the character in Rory's stag party t-shirt was funny. McCrory's costume was designed to be similar to her alien creature to make the transition smooth. McCrory was coached to move like a fish, which she pursued diligently. Each pair of teeth for the vampires was unique and molded to their mouths. They were hard to speak with, and Alex Price's lines were revoiced, though he commented he got quite good at speaking with them. So overall, this is a very interesting and unique episode, and yeah, the whole thing with the silence at the end does kind of go into what's going to happen in the next season. So yeah. So overall, I give The Vampires of Venice 4 sonic screwdrivers out of 5. Well, tune in next week as we take a look at Amy's Choice. Well, hope you'll enjoy the review, and if you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up, share it around, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon to be notified by when I upload videos. And if it helps support this channel, be sure to check out my Patreon page. Link, as always, is in the description below. So, until next time, this is Sylvie Queen saying, "Oh my giddy aunt! When I say run, run! I have a versatility of the neutron flow. Would you like a jelly baby? Fantastic! Allons-y! Geronimo!" Bow ties are cool, fezzes are cool, and Stetsons are cool.